Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tailgate Talk. We're your hosts, David, Nick, and Joseph. Boys, side of the people.
What's up,
Howdy.
people?
So, obviously, college football season over, as we touched on last week. But that doesn't mean that college football doesn't have news. We want to touch real quick on some of the big news that happened this past week. None bigger than the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Nick Saban has retired, and it is now the start of the Kalen DeBoer era at Alabama. So, boys, let me hear your thoughts.
Well,
You want to
first,
go first, Nick?
I'll go first because I know you got beef with Nick Saban, so I'll let you finish up. But it's a great time to be named Nick. Just great people are named Nick. It's a great first name. Shout out all the Nicks out there. But in all seriousness, the man had more first round picks than losses at Alabama, and he was there for I don't even know how many years, but he was there for a while. Um, there's so many different stats that you can say about Nick Saban to really emphasize his dominance, but um, nine SEC titles, six national titles. You're never going to see a program have that type of success again in this era of NIL and um, transfers and all this. You're never going to see a program win six titles. I know I hate the whole big bad mighty SEC. They did it in the SEC, and the SEC we can say arguably is it's like another NFL. It's like a NFL adjacent. He went into the toughest conference in the country, and he made it his. And as a Clemson guy, just happy we beat him a couple times for that hardware ourselves. But it was always I want Alabama to lose, and they never do and it was because of Nick Saban and what he built. So congratulations on a great career. Shout out your name, love it, attaboy Saban, way to represent Knicks. And yeah, I mean it's crazy to think that he's gone, and obviously he's still going to be around that program, but Alabama, I mean, we saw it with all their transfers out and decommitments, they're not going to be the same, and it's crazy to say that. It's going to be interesting to see how long the fan base gives Kalen DeBoer, who I think is a great coach. I think they made a great hire. Um, it's going to be interesting to see how big his leash is, and I hope they gave him a long leash. I hope they don't run him out because he doesn't deserve that. He's won everywhere he goes. I think that was the best hire they could have made. So it's just a weird feeling to know that Nick Saban's not patrolling the sidelines in Tuscaloosa anymore.
Yeah, so I'll kind of follow that up. Listen, I know I've had my beef with Nick Saban. I know Nick Saban doesn't know who I am and that I've had my beef with him. But at the end of the day, like my beef was based on the fact that hey, he was getting old. He was still very, very good at what he does. He was still probably the best in the business. But my narrative was that, hey, retire, retire while you're still on top, retire while you're still Nick Saban and you're not decrepit and you've lost a step. I'm super happy for him as a sports analyst, I guess, in what we do, because he gets to go enjoy his life now. He gets to go enjoy his life with his family, his grandkids, his kids. That's always something super special. I mean, you hit on it. He not only had six national titles at Alabama, but he won one at LSU, another team in the SEC. Like, he didn't just do this at one place, he did this at multiple places. Like, I'm sure if he stayed at Toledo, his first ever coaching job, he probably could have done it there. Like, the sky is the limit for him. We were all witnesses, right? There's like that LeBron thing, like be a witness. We're all witnesses. We were all witnesses to the greatest coach in college football history, and I think that's something that's super special. Um, so in that aspect, I'm happy for him. Thank you for such a legendary coaching career. You're like you were the mainstay when I started getting into college football as a little kid. So getting into like the whole coaching search afterwards, I know Lanning was a big name that was supposed to go there. He was at the top of a lot of sports books for coaching candidacy at Alabama. I know he kind of said, F no, I'm staying at Oregon. I have what it takes to win a national title there, which is also a little interesting factor to see what he can do at Oregon, if he can follow through on what he said to Alabama fans and people who thought he might go there. But with that being said, I think Nick put it best. Kalen DeBoer is one of the best coaches in the country. He's 114 and I think like 10 in his entire coaching career as a head coach. Like you said, he's won everywhere he's gone. Alabama is a machine. And yes, that was partially due to Saban, but I don't think it's just going to stop now that Saban's gone. Like part of that was the Alabama name. Alabama was something before Alabama or Nick Saban, and it's probably going to be something after because you have a guy who is going to come in there and yeah, he might hit a few speed bumps, but he's going to win. And we saw that what he can do in a 2-year span at Washington, which hasn't made the playoffs since Chris Peterson in I think the second playoff in 2016. So I'm really excited to see what he can do if he can kind of keep them in national prominence. I know it's going to be difficult. I know it's like a long-winded thing, but I know it's going to be difficult. Like the transfer portal, you've already had some major guys jump in the transfer portal from Alabama. Isaiah Bond, Caleb Downs, who was a 5-star freshman last year that started for Alabama as a safety. Like you have some game-changing guys who jumped in the portal. That doesn't mean
Left
that
tackle too.
that doesn't mean that they won't come back to Alabama, but that means that they're entertaining other people, which you never want in a relationship. And that's kind of what the transfer portal is. It's like a relationship. You don't want your significant other searching for other people. You want them to have you. So that's an interesting aspect. I'm curious to see if he can land those guys. I know that it was said that Nick Saban will be around to if wanted around to try and keep those players to try and shadow and show him the ropes. I'm curious to see if he will take him up on that offer. But all in all, I think congrats to Nick Saban. I think Kalen DeBoer was a great hire. I don't think that they could have messed that up. And I'm really excited to see what happens next year for Alabama.
David, before you say your thoughts, I just want to touch on it really quick. Like when Joe said the transfer portal in Alabama, all these guys are hopping in, something's got to be done because unfortunately, like, I mean, I'm happy that it's not my team, but the fact that guys have 30 days after their coach leaves to transfer right now with the way that, I mean, look at, it's not just at Alabama because Washington's in it too. And Arizona, for a matter of fact, when they had 9 kids in 30 minutes hop in the portal, it's just open season for all these programs, and they don't have the opportunity to go out and get other people because the transfer portal is closed to everybody else. So really, if like Arizona wants to go and get all these transfers, they have to pick from right now Washington and Alabama, and people. It's just it's making teams that switch their coaches later. It's screwing them over so hard because there's only those kids in the portal. So it's just something's got to it like I'm all for transferring because I mean coaches can leave whenever they want. I think players should as well, but something's got to be done to kind of regulate it because these programs like Washington lost their coach to no fault of their own. Now they're screwed because they can't go and recruit the kids that they're losing. So something's got to get done about that in the near future.
And just quick thing before David speaks. I know like the NCAA, we talk crap on them all the time, but like they really went right and deservedly, but they went from having no player empowerment to having all the player empowerment, and it should be somewhere kind of in the middle. And that goes towards the transfer portal. Like there should be more rules and regulations rather than just a 30-day window after your coach leaves. Like they should have thought it had a more well thought out process beforehand before just establishing this and rolling this out. But of course it's the NCAA, so we kind of expected this. But go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, right, Dave, I'll touch on that transfer portal comment real quick before I talk about Nick Saban. I agree with you guys 100%. And here's the hard part. Like you took the genie out of the bottle. Now you got to try and put the genie back in. You can't put the genie back in.
Nope, it's really hard.
What are you going to do? I don't think that it's fair to the players on that team when their coach leaves to tell them you can't go follow that coach or go somewhere else, because most of these guys are going to, like, these guys went to play for Nick Saban. That meant something to them. Now they don't get to do that. They deserve the opportunity to look out. This is the first time I can think of where it's happened this late. Nick Saban waiting until after the playoff to then decide to retire, and of course the ensuing 72 hours after that, where Kalen DeBoer gets hired on, and so now that's two playoff teams that really weren't. That I'll tell you this: they were using the transfer portal during their playoff. You've got Will Rogers on the sideline for Washington, and you've got Alabama getting guys here. Like they were using the portal leading into it, and now these guys that they enticed over, coaches leave, and those guys hop right back in the portal. Like it's something that I think the players have the right to do, and I've been a proponent, I've been a supporter of that 100%, because like you guys have said, the coach can leave whenever. The players should, when that happens, the players should have some kind of power. The part that makes it difficult is the whole scheduling. The whole scheduling of the early signing period, the transfer portal when it opens and closes, all of that is just, it's open season, and there's no checks and balances when it comes to tampering, when it comes to NIL, all of those things that they threw everything out once without any forethought, because people got greedy. And I'm just calling a spade there. It's money. That's, as long as people are making money off of this, I don't think it's going to get fixed. I hate it for the sport. I think it really does take away from why people go and play, why people used to go to college and play college football, for the love of the game, for the love of the team, the school. A lot of these guys, I mean, a lot of guys are there because they need to be able to start making a name for themselves to support their family. That's great. That's a great opportunity. That's the American dream. But you're losing things when when the only focus is the green dollar bills. So hopefully we can find a way out of it. Hopefully now that Nick Saban is no longer at Alabama, maybe he can be the champion for that as like a college football commissioner. I know people have thrown that idea out whenever he retires as something that he could possibly do to help save the sport. I would love it. I would also love to make sure that that man enjoys his after coaching career, because he's earned every minute of it. So, Nick Saban has given us so many great moments in college football. The rat poison comments, I'm not gonna stop asking me. I'm not gonna answer. So quit asking. The X's and O's, the Jimmys, the Joes, the way that he built a program that everyone tried to find a way to topple. And when it finally felt like someone was able to find a way to topple it with high-powered offense, he said, "Okay, I'll do it like you did. I'll do it even better." I mean, the man is the GOAT for a reason. There will never be another coach like Nick Saban. There may be other ones that are, great in their own way, that can have also amazing, stellar careers, but the way that Nick Saban just methodically dominated college football for over a decade, I don't think will ever be replicated. And I just want to thank him for all that he's given to college football as a whole. And like Nick said, I'm very happy we were able to beat him twice. We lost him a couple of times as well. He's the best, and all of college football is going to miss him.
I'm also very happy that he's gone. Enough of the love fest. Screw you. Leave. I'm done with you. Just want to put that out there.
You Clemson fans.
I didn't say anything negative. I think I was pretty
This
positive.
isn't
You
a
were
Clemson
thinking it.
fan.
You were thinking it, David.
Maybe a little bit.
Everybody not from Tuscaloosa was thinking what I just said.
Look at Auburn. Auburn was TPing tumors to. Yeah, this is
So it's not just a me thing. It's a college football. Oh, he's the GOAT. Yeah. Whatever.
And here's another thing here. Getting back onto our whole shtick about making fun of people. Alabama fans, he did not die. I swear to God, he's alive.
Yeah.
You do not need to be making a shrine at the Bears statue and all of that. He's alive. He's okay. He's actually going to be part of the program still.
That's bad juju. That's bad juju.
It's like when Michigan did it when Harbaugh gets suspended. He's still there. He's not gone.
I love college football. It's one of my most favorite things in the world. No one died, okay? It's okay. You're gonna guess what? The sun turned again. The next day came up. You guys got a new coach. You're good. You'll be okay. Life will continue.
I agree with that so much.
I don't think these Alabama fans are ready for what this new era is going to be. Because obviously, like we said, Kalen DeBoer is a great coach. He ain't Nick Saban. And
no, his leash is going to be short, and it's to no fault of his own.
And I hate that for him, but it's going to be funny to see them complain about only winning 9, 10, 11 games. It's going to be really funny. And, we're seeing it with Alabama fans already complaining about the portal. The same portal that Alabama abused for the last 5 years, however long it's been around. The day of reckoning has come for Alabama fans. Now, Nick Saban's gone. Your protector's gone. It's time to feel like the rest of us, and I'm very excited to see that happen.
And I'm just playing more devil's advocate on the subject, but because I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. You guys know that. I think our listeners know that. But on the other hand, you're talking to an audience, right? Who a lot of these kids who went to Alabama, who are now alumni of Alabama, who grew up watching Alabama, they were born and Nick Saban's dynasty was alive and well by that point. And so all they know is Alabama, Nick Saban, championship. Alabama, Nick Saban, championship. So who just graduated recently from Alabama, all they know is Nick Saban. So what do you think, what do you think his leash is going to kill? I'm talking about Kalen DeBoer now. What do you think Kalen DeBoer's leash is going to be like when he loses that first SEC game to Texas? Because, it's the big bad SEC. This ain't the Pac-12 no more. And
not only that, but his first home game in the SEC, the Dogs.
Yeah, or he loses to Georgia. They're going to go Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, is going to be more lively than ever. And I can't wait to just watch and be a spectator on the entire crapshoot that is going to be Alabama Twitter, Alabama message boards, Alabama
anything.
Can't wait for it. But that's just me.
I'm a big Texas guy, but don't forget that's the team that Kalen DeBoer just beat. So
but
I don't think he's going to be afraid of him. He's not going to be afraid of him.
He's going to need to find his footing first in Tuscaloosa. He had 100%. His footing set. He had 10 toes down in Washington.
This year, I feel like you have to give him at least this year and next year, because this year, with the way that the timing was, didn't have a chance to recruit this coming recruiting class, didn't have a chance to deal with any kind of transfer portal stuff. They're on the raw end of both of those. So this year, whoever they have on that team is who they're going to have. And so I think the big question is what kind of fight you see in Alabama. I mean, they still got some dudes on that team. They don't get that twisted. They didn't lose every single 5-star that's on that roster because that entire roster was only 5 stars, it felt like.
Jalen Milroe's still going to be there.
Mm-hmm. So you've got
hopefully he doesn't pull a Mark Sanchez and run into his center's butt.
Hey. No need to bring that up.
So we'll see this year. I think you got to temper your expectations. How does this next recruiting cycle come and the next transfer portal round go? Is he able to bring in big names, either from other teams or from high school? Is he able to continue that and kind of settle the ship? I think by the end of the second season, you have a better idea on if they are, if they're able to continue as they want to. And again, if it doesn't work out and now you go in another round, you're setting yourself up for the same exact thing. So I think if Alabama wants to give themselves a chance to continue to be highly relevant in college football, because they're going to have opportunities being the SEC and with the 12-team playoff league. If you win your games enough, you're going to be there.
Yeah, you could win 10
you,
games, drop 2 and be in and be fine.
Yeah, but the expectation that one loss ruins a coach's chance of staying at that program, I think needs to be tempered, because you're just going to set yourselves up for kind of the same cycle that Florida State went through recently when Jimbo left. A couple of years of coaches revolving in and out until they finally found the guy.
David, everything you said is right. Everything you said is completely factual. But we're talking about the Tide here. They don't care. They ain't rational.
Roll Tide, baby.
It's all about the Tide.
All right. With
care.
that,
they're not going to be rational.
With that, I think we're able to move on to our next season of sports. Our next category. We're now talking college hoops. We're going to start off with a hopefully recurring segment of the Big East Brawl update with our good boy Joseph over here. So Joe, you want to get us caught up on what's going on in the world of college basketball and what we should be looking out for this next week.
So
I don't care.
So
whatever.
I think I just want to refresh our listeners a little bit. I am a Seton Hall fan. I grew up in a household of Seton Hall. There are baby pictures of me wearing Seton Hall sweatshirts when I was like 0 years old. I love the Big East. I am absorbed in the Big East Conference. I love college hoops all around, but the Big East is like my specialty. And with that said, like the biggest storyline in the Big East this year is Seton Hall, right? The Pirates, who were picked to finish 9th in the Big East Conference, which is the bottom, are now in first place. They're 6-1 in their conference. They're, I think, 15-3 overall or 13-3 overall. Hold on, I'll get you the exact.
Shaheen Holloway, baby.
They're 13-5 overall. They're led by, like you said, Shaheen Holloway, who was a former McDonald's All-American MVP in the year Kobe played in that game. He was a 5-star recruit who chose Seton Hall over Duke, Kansas, and other big-time blue blood programs. He as a player, he played with a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a lot of tenacity, almost, right? He was always very blue collar as a player. He was always drive to the rim, get fouled, right? He was always a big team guy in college, and he's doing that now again. And what I'm very, very upset with, and I have no respect for the AP poll, I have no respect for the RPI, the net rankings, Ken Pomeroy, all of the rankings are not giving them their justice. They beat number 5 at the time, UConn, who's now number 1 in the country, by 15 on December 20th, and then beat a week later number 23 Providence at Providence, and then Marquette at home. And they were number 7 in the country and number 23 in the country. And then they just beat a red hot St. John's team. Very, very upset, but they still haven't been ranked. They're one of the better teams in the country. And what makes them so special is they won their transfer portal. They got major impact transfers who are helping them this year. They kept the guys that were supposed to go into transfer portal who are also having a major impact. And they have a guy who plays like Ben Simmons named Kadari Richmond, who can drive to the hoop and get you 2 whenever he feels like it. So this team is something to be feared. Currently, they're the top of the Big East. I know UConn's playing right now. When this is being recorded against number 18 Creighton. We have Creighton this Saturday at Creighton. I can't wait for it all. But yeah, very, very upset with the RPI. Very, very upset with Ken Pomeroy. His rankings don't matter. All of those rankings are not doing us justice. And honestly, I have no respect for them. I am going to try and find out how I get an AP vote so I can submit a top 25 ballot, because these people don't know what they're talking about. I eat, sleep, and breathe college basketball. And this is just not this is not correct. It's not kosher to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't understand it. So that's the update in the Big East. They still have a lot of teams that are scheduled or that are projected to go into the NCAA tournament. Marquette, UConn, Butler, St. John's, Seton Hall. So very excited to see what they do, but very, very upset with the rankings. Not okay. And that's kind of the gist of it.
UConn just won 62-48 over Creighton.
Well, we're going to be
Seton
tied.
Hall
Then
watch is going to be every week. Is Seton Hall in the poll? We'll see.
They're not going to be, because no one cares. And I can't stand the fact that like no one does their homework just because it's a small team, a small college in South Orange, New Jersey that has 2,800 kids or so that go to their school. They're a basketball program. They went to the national title in '89. Like they've gotten top recruits. They have gone to the NCAA tournament the last, I think, 8 out of 10 years or so. I could be a little wrong on that, but they consistently go. They have a good coach. They have a young and up and coming coach who just beat Kentucky at St. Peter's, beat a competitive Murray State team, and then lost to, I believe, might have been one of the top teams last year or 2 years ago. So it's super saddening that no one in college basketball cares about a small school from South Orange when this is what college basketball is all about. This is like, I don't understand. When we go into college basketball, we look for Cinderella stories. It's what we love. It's what we count on, right? And then all of a sudden, like, you're just disregarding Cinderella stories until March? That doesn't make any sense. Respect the Cinderella story now. People want stories in sports. That's why we watch sports, for the stories. And these people are just ignoring the Cinderella story from a small school in South Orange. So that's the rant.
Shout out Alamir Dawes, former Clemson player.
Yeah, he's lighting it up, by the way. He's back.
I miss him. Wish he was still in the club.
By the way, Big East champs. Okay. 2020 COVID year. No Mickey Mouse stuff over here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nick, you and
I don't know how
we're in a rough spot right now. Clemson basketball had started off in such a great way, and I don't really want to talk about it.
You know what? Clemson basketball did Clemson basketball things. They sucked us in, and I'm really excited about college baseball season. You know, Clemson's ranked number 10 to start the preseason. Returning
softball
a bunch of players.
Season's coming up too, Nick. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. You know, and
I'm ready to build Valerie Cagle that statue right now. She deserves it. So,
when she retires, are you gonna go play Amazing Grace and stick candles around her statue, or
have to,
and Coke bottles?
Yeah, all of that. You know, when she graduates, I think the world ends. Yeah, that's exactly what, according to Bama logic, that's how that works.
I can't believe they did it to us again. They went 11-1. Oh my god!
Yeah, who's the star on that team? Is it Hunter Tyson?
That was a quad 3 loss at home. You've
double overtime.
You're gonna pull it out. You've got 15 seconds left. You're up 3.
We were up 9 with a minute and a half to go.
This is just a frustration kind of rant from me now. I don't get what is Brad's entire career has been built on defense, and we just and these games since ACC play has started. Like, what is going on?
They suck. They can't defend anybody, and we've gone ice cold from three. That's all it comes down to. We can't hit our shots, and it doesn't help that every team seemingly hits 60% of their shots against us, and that's just unsustainable.
Yeah, but that comes down to defense.
Yeah, and the defense isn't what it needs to be.
So, I mean, I hope they pull it out. I think that they have the early enough resume that if they can start winning these games, and but their margin of error has gone down to razor thin. It is now razor thin.
And you know what? If they don't make the postseason again, Brunell's got to go. Like this was supposed to be his most talented team he's had in Clemson. He started off 11-1. If he misses it again, he's got to go. I'm sorry. Like that's just. I know he's the winningest coach in program history, but it's because he's been there longer than anybody other coach. He's racking them up.
Yeah.
I hate to call for another
all
game.
that Brad's done for Clemson basketball to, upgrade the facilities, have the athletic department invest in the college basketball. But I think we've hit the ceiling with it. I really do. I want more than just a Sweet 16 berth once in 14 years.
There's other great college basketball coaches sitting on their couch or sitting on
with ties to Clemson. Ties to Clemson.
And you could hire them in a heartbeat. And no offense, like I don't know much about Clemson basketball, but like Steve Woj is sitting out there. He's an excellent coach who coached at Marquette and had them in the top 25 every year. He's just one example out of probably 50 coaches that are achievable for a big time school to pull them off the couch and be like, here's a lump sum of money. Here you go. And come coach our team to a top 25 and a March Madness berth and get us into the tournament and win inside the tournament. There's a bunch of coaches.
You know who I want, and I wanted to flex the big Clemson muscles? Go get Shaka Smart. Go get him. No, I don't care. No, here's my thing. You're an ACC school, best basketball conference arguably in the country. Go get the guy that was on your staff that's proven he can win at VCU and at Marquette now. And at Texas a little bit. Just go get the guy. I don't care. I don't care. I know he's not going to want to leave Marquette. I know that the Big East is a great conference. Like I'm aware of that. I don't care. You are an ACC school. Act like it. Go get the guy that's going to get your team further in the tournament.
Dave, if the SEC can do it in football, we can do it in basketball.
Exactly.
He's building something at Marquette. You guys.
Would you rather? Okay, how about this? In the winter, would you rather be in Wisconsin or would you rather be in South Carolina?
I think
we have a lake. We have a lake.
I think Shaka's a little messed up in the head. I think he would like. The hard
come home. Come home. Somebody.
I'm just saying. I think
blatantly just calling for someone to take over Brad's job. This is just.
I think you guys missed your chance. I think he's already building something at Marquette, and he's not going to want to leave something.
Then go get Terrence Oglesby. Bring him home. I don't even care.
Someone.
It's just someone that can avoid.
A wet paper towel can do a better job of coaching this team right now than
Brad. Wow. Fire me. I love college hoops.
I have beef with my own coach now.
Before we sign off, David and I are now calling for Brad Brunell. We're trying to get that Joe magic because I don't know if you guys noticed, Joe's 2-0 against coaches. He took down Saban. Saban retired, and he took down Ryan Day. Joe's 2-0. I'm channeling some Joe magic. Give me Shaka Smart.
Ah, boys.
And with that, go Tigers.
Go Pirates.
And how do I stop this? Here we go.